Hi, teachers and educators, this video is for you, but it's also for parents. I'm Rachel and I do live streaming, and I want to talk to you about why you too can do live streaming from class. I know it's being discussed as ideas as students are possibly going back into schools in person this fall. This is 2020 and right now we're in July and not really sure where things are going to land. If you've been wondering if live streaming your class, whether from the classroom with nobody there or from your classroom with some students in person and some from home, maybe you've been wondering if that's possible. It is. And so what I wanted to do is create this video for you today to demonstrate that it's doable. It's doable with kind of hacking things together. It's doable with purchasing a couple things that you may want to do to make it a little higher quality, but not much, okay? Right now I'm actually shooting this video in my bedroom, which I think most of us are from our homes anyway. Probably most of you were teaching from your homes, maybe even your bedrooms, while you were wrapping up this last 2020 year the best you could. And thank you for that. Thank you so much for really trying to make that effort to get us all through the end of that year. And now we're facing a new year. This video is also for parents. Maybe you're looking at, do I send my child back into in-person classes this fall? It might very much depend on where you are. Maybe you're thinking, I shouldn't, I should keep them home. But then what are the options? So that really is what this video is for, is to say, look, there is a way for teachers to, if you can be in the classroom and it's safe for you to be so and you're going to be there, and if you're going to be in the class with other students, but maybe some of them are from home, you can conduct a class and live stream it. Now, I want to talk about live streaming briefly. You may be thinking that you're asking me to go on Facebook Live or do a YouTube Live. No, I'm not asking you to do that. Live streaming, it's very much known for being that, for being a social media live video. But we're talking about classrooms, right? We're talking about a fixed number of people you've invited into this particular broadcast. Really all live streaming is it's going to stream something you're doing live as it's happening. So you're teaching a class, live streaming that class really just means as you're teaching it, what you're teaching is being broadcast out to that select number of students, likely through a Zoom or a Google Meet, I would imagine. Zoom, I believe, has been made free for educators, the Zoom Pro version. You can do this though through a Zoom free version as well. But if you're an educator, you have Zoom Pro. Or you may be using Google Meet because G Suite is being used by your district. That's fine too. This works for both ways. I'm recording this video through Zoom right now. So typically I do live stream. I do YouTube or Facebook live streams. I've done Twitch before, I've done LinkedIn, which that's an everybody audience. But I'm doing this through Zoom to demonstrate that it's doable. So what I wanted to do today was walk through this with you. And I've actually got a bit of a 2-camera shoot going on, so you might see me switch back and forth to see what my setup is. I'm going to refer to that setup in a little bit as we talk through the tools that I'm using, again, all of which you can use. Hopefully that's great for an intro, and if this is helpful to you, or maybe you want to convince people that this can be done, send it on. And I'm happy to dig more into how it will work for your situation. But this whole video should work for if you just want to learn how it can be done easily, thriftily, and eventually you can be a live streaming teacher, and it's actually really easy, I promise. And I even didn't wear a whole lot of makeup today and be like, look, this is just me being real, just to show you how doable it is, okay? So stick with me. First, let's cover some basics about video, particularly live streaming. What do you need? Absolutely. So you might be surprised at this. The thing you need the most, the thing you absolutely need to have no matter what, is good audio. All right. Now, I know what I'm sounding like right now might sound a little echoey. It's because I'm in a room with 4 walls. I have no microphone clipped to me right now. That's on purpose. I'm trying to demonstrate to you what you can do. So you will need some kind of microphone. Now, what's great is, and I'll go through this, you have a few options. So yes, you could purchase or get a lapel microphone, one of those things that clips right here. You've seen newscasters wear them and stuff like that. And they clip right here about armpit level on a collar or a lapel mic. Those can be wired, where it actually has a cord running down, probably at the back, connecting to something, or they can be wireless. The wireless ones tend to run a little more money. I'm not going to cover those in this video because I'm figuring that may not be an option due to the cost of them. What I am using today is a Blue Yeti microphone. Now, I think people think of an actual Yeti that is colored blue. It's not. And the microphone itself isn't blue. I'm actually going to pick it up. So, and you can hear me a little louder because I'm holding it closer to me. This is a Blue Yeti microphone. It's large. It comes with a stand. You can actually get a mount for it that you may have seen podcasters use it, where they have it kind of bent in, an arm coming in, and it holds the Yeti, you know, at an angle like this. You can get that, but I'm actually just using this as it came, no extra attachments. It's the Blue Yeti. You can adjust this here. It's got some controls on it where you can turn up, like if you have earphones connected to it to hear yourself, you can do that. You can, I just muted myself. Or, and you can also, it has some adjustments here too. This is why I'm recommending it for teachers in a classroom, because it has settings where you can make sure it's kind of cardioid, it's directional just to a single person, which is what I'm using right now. Or it's got an omnidirectional option as well, where if, say, you wanted to, you know, capture, record what was going on in the classroom with more people, it could do that as well. So it's multi-purpose. It's under $200 to get this. I really like it because of the versatility of it. And again, I'm going to put it back down. You guys can see with my little 2-camera shoot what it looks like. I'm going to put it back down here. So right now it is about, it's about 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet away from me. So it's not up in my face, but you do need a microphone of some kind, because for, you know, particularly the students who are learning from home, they absolutely have to be able to hear and understand what you're saying to gather the lesson. Any parent or teacher is going to recognize that your kids have to understand you in order to learn. And so that's why I do believe a microphone is important. Now, again, you can get lapel stuff. And if you're not worried about being tethered to your laptop, which is probably where you're going to be running your classes from, or computer, you could totally get a little lapel mic. They're under 20 bucks and really good quality. And you basically just, it has a little kind of almost a watch battery in it, but you clip it here. It got a really long cord, can plug right into the audio jack of your laptop or computer system. And now you're mic'd. You just have to make sure you don't wander too far, because you will have a leash. Okay. So audio first, make sure your kids hear you. Even if they can't see you, if they can hear you, that's awesome. But we do want them to see you, as well as anything you might be showing them, as far as like sharing screens or sharing lessons on a smart board or a chalkboard or anything. Maybe you're showing them what a science project looks like, and you know that's something you can't necessarily share screens with. So let's talk about the video part. You do need a camera. Now, if you are using a laptop, the built-in webcam in your laptop will work fine in a pinch. Not the highest quality, but it's enough, right? It can show you what you're saying, what you're doing, what you're talking. You can look at that. I'm looking at this camera right now. I'm looking at my phone camera over there. And you can look at that laptop webcam just fine. Now, you may decide you want a little more versatility though. And here's why I bring this up. If you're running the class and you may not have anyone to help you with it, and you have a laptop sitting here in front of you trying to capture you, and you're running the class and you're doing everything yourself, but you want to focus on the class, the lesson itself versus what's happening in Zoom, the laptop webcam may not be ideal, because it's going to be in a laptop. And you guys can see me down here. Here's my laptop. So I don't even have it in front of me right now. It's sitting over here, and periodically I'm glancing at my notes as we go through this. But primarily I'm looking at you because I want you to understand what I'm sharing. And I'm looking over at my second cam too, not necessarily looking at the laptop. So if you're in a position where you can have somebody who can moderate the Zoom for you without, you know, while you're teaching, you may want an external webcam. Now that's what I'm using. I'm actually using two, which is why I'm saying this is doable. Now the one I'm looking at right now is a Logitech webcam. They make excellent web cameras. The one I'm using is a C920, and I got it about 4 years ago for, oh my gosh, I think it was under $200, or it was on sale big time. And I still use it. It's fantastic. Every time I use it on any of my live streams, people are like, that's a really good camera. It's great. And it can do high definition. You don't need that though. A lot of times I do my live streams at 480p. That's a technical term, but it's kind of just standard quality and it works great. So I have it, and so now I'm going to reach for it. It's right here. So I have it on a mount actually, and I'm able to move it. Great part about this camera, it comes with a built-in microphone. So in a pinch, if you don't have an external microphone like the one I just showed you, the Blue Yeti, you can probably just use the microphone right off this camera. I do recommend getting something that is more of an actual microphone, just because you do have more control over it separate from the camera. And if you're in a classroom full of students, I'm sure you can't really control if you're going to hear all this ambient noise, right? So you may want to do that. The camera too, with it being external, is that you can move it anywhere you want. Right now I have it at about 3 feet away from me, and it's almost about eye level, but I can move that. Let's say that you are showing something, a science project, maybe you're a science teacher and want to show something that's laid out or built. You can easily grab the camera and go and move it. Again, it's got a USB tether to whatever system you're using, but you can actually move it and showcase whatever you're doing. Conversely, you can use, and I'm doing this again through Zoom, you can use a smartphone as a second camera. So right now I'm looking over at my smartphone. Hello. I've got that set up over, it's actually just on one of those little bendy, I always call it the octopus mount, but it's got like little bendy legs on it, a little smartphone mount. It's on a step stool, a metal step stool, and it's sitting over here at an angle from me, just so you can kind of see my layout. But I've got that as an attendee into my Zoom, and it's sharing video. So I'm recording all this again, just to say that, yes, you have a laptop built-in webcam. You can get an external webcam, or you can just use your phone. Your smartphone probably has one of the top quality cameras you're available on the market today. So a webcam from your laptop, an external cam if you want to purchase one, they're pretty cheap, or you can just use your smartphone as your camera. And again, that's great too, because yeah, you just move it around and then you just clasp it back into whatever mount you've got going on, and you can use that. So audio, we covered that. Video, we covered that. Lighting. Now, this should not be a problem, especially if you're teaching out of the classroom. I imagine, and actually I chose my bedroom for a reason, because we've got that old style drop ceiling tile in our bedroom, in our basement, and we have these like canister lights that just rain down kind of hot light on us. Maybe we'll get it remodeled at some point, but it's a bit reminiscent of what you're probably going to have in the classroom. So that's all I'm using, is the same light that I have in my bedroom, probably very similar to the fluorescence overheads you're going to have in your classroom if that's where you're teaching. As long as your students can see you lit up in some way. If you turn all the lights off, probably not going to be great. The video quality will definitely go down if you do that. But as long as you're lit pretty much from upward lights, you can be just fine in the lighting department. Now, I mentioned you may have things in the classroom that are not things you can share on screen that you want to show people, and you might want to walk the camera around to those. You will want to make sure those are well lit. It would be really hard for you to like share something that's maybe think of one of those dioramas, maybe it's like in a cardboard box and you have to try to get in there and see it. Without a flashlight where you're showing it around, that would be really hard to show somebody via a webcam and just kind of put it in there. It won't have enough light to make it a good quality, without us being Steven Spielberg, we're not going to be able to produce that level of, hey, there's no light in here, but it's a great video. You do need to have some kind of lighting. But again, your smartphone has a flashlight feature on it. That could be enough too, just to add that little bit of extra light on something if you're trying to show that. So always you can hack this. The fourth thing you need, we've talked about audio, video, lighting. Now we need to talk about that lovely thing called Wi-Fi or internet. So what I recommend is, if at all possible, make sure that the computer system, whether it's a laptop or a tower or whatever you're using, make sure it is hardwired into the internet signal with an Ethernet cable. So I'm going to show you what the Ethernet cable is. I just unplugged it from my system, so hopefully we're good. This is an Ethernet cable. It's like a phone cord of old, but it's thicker. You can kind of see it there. Thicker, it's got the little prong on that, but that is your Ethernet cable. Every modem or router should have a means of connecting a cable from the router to, via this kind of cable, to a system. And so that's how you want to be connected into the internet. You could do Wi-Fi if you're live streaming, but consider Everybody's using Wi-Fi right now, way more than we ever did, because everybody's working from home or trying to, or being remote, or they're just bored and they're using Wi-Fi anyway. The more consistent signal you can give yourself through being hardwired into the internet is going to help that live broadcast of your Zoom out to your students, gives you less of a chance of hiccuping. Now, if they hiccup on their end, that's not your problem. You know, I mean, it is, we want them to have a good signal, but the best chance you can give them is to make sure your signal's strong, okay? So Ethernet hooked into your system, that gives you the best chance for a strong internet signal for through the duration of that broadcast. 4 things we just talked about, the very basics, and this applies to any live stream: audio, video, lighting, internet. Now let's move on to the actual, how are you going to set this up in your classroom? I recognize every classroom is different. Even at my kids' school, one of them is now moving to high school. They're going to be at a different school. And then the other one is going to be at the same school. I can go from one classroom to the next, and desks are different, teachers' desks in a different place, chalkboard, smartboard, you know, curriculum, supplies of any kind, the desks of the students are different. You're going to have all kinds of different scenarios. So what I want to talk about is really from a teacher standpoint, how can we help you do this the best, okay? So again, and you can kind of see it from my side camera, I'm in a small space. I can totally move around a bit, you know. Consider that too when you have a camera. If you are a mover while you talk, you'll want the camera to be far back enough to capture that. So if I'm going to talk around over here, well, I went off camera, they can't see me as well. But we want to make you as comfortable as possible teaching in this manner. So put the camera back. Remember, the audio is the most important part, especially if you're just standing there lecturing, okay? Move that camera back away from you so it's a wider angle. So if you do tend to travel, you're not leaving the camera. And even if you do for a little bit, it's not going to kill anything, okay? So as long as they can still hear you through the microphone, golden. Now, I'll talk a little bit about too, you can see on my side camera, I do have some accoutrements I'm using for this broadcast, but I also have some home items too that anybody probably has. So one of the things I have, and you can see it in the side camera, is this mount. Now I have had that also for about 4 years. I got it from a website called Arkon Mounts, ARKON mounts.com. They have a ton of camera mounts, and basically just got a base on there, and then it's got an adjustable height pole. And then I really just have my camera perched on the top pretty securely. I definitely wouldn't be swinging around or anything, but that allows me to kind of change the height of my camera. But guess what? All of that is sitting on a TV tray. So I do what I can, and I do what I need to. So that's all sitting on a TV tray. I also have my smartphone camera over there. Again, that's using one of those little, you can get these anywhere, but I also got that at Arkon Mounts, but a little camera mount, holds a smartphone, and has those 3 kind of bendy legs on it. So it can make a tripod, but it also can grasp anything. Right now, that's all curled up around the top of a step stool. So think about what's in your classroom. As you have these things, really it's about mounting things. It's about, where is this camera going to sit? Where am I going to have it positioned? Where is this microphone going to sit? As long as you have it somewhere. Again, the microphone I'm using is that Blue Yeti. It's about 2.5, 3 feet from me, sitting on the top, on the surface of the same TV tray where my camera mount is sitting. So I'm not using anything fancy here. This is all stuff that's household items. Again, we're thinking of schoolhouse items, but you can hack your way through this a little bit. At the end of the day, even if the kids giggle at it like, oh my gosh, this looks kind of messy, they get over that quick. And then it's like, well, is the lesson getting through? That's the thing that's most important. We're not here to try to look like Steven Spielberg. Sorry, Steven. But we are here to try to get the lesson across. And safely. And so that's what the whole point of this video is. So with that, I'm happy to provide any other guidance I can. If you have a specific situation where you're like, right, I got this whole video, I got all the things you shared, I'm still a little stuck, I feel like there's an obstacle here, or I feel like I can't do this here, or oh my God, no, how do you know to look at the camera? I can help with all of that, but I made this video so you at least have the basics. If you've been uncertain of if live streaming your class, and again, just means it's streaming as you're holding a class live. If you have any doubts about it, I want to help alleviate those and let you know this is totally doable cheaply and well. So I'm here to help. Please share the video if this is helpful at all. Share it with any teachers, educators, district administrators, parents, guardians, anyone that you feel could benefit from it. Even if you don't use all of this, some of these might give you some ideas for what you can use in your class anyway. So happy to help. Please leave any questions in the comments. You can email me, rachel@really.social. The hardest part of that is my name, RACHEL, @really.social, and just email me if you have any questions. I'm here to help, and thank you so much again. Teachers, you're amazing. That doesn't even encompass it. And our thoughts are with you. I mean, goodness, we're all in this together. And then of course, parents, I'm a parent too, not a teacher, but I'm a parent, kind of a teacher because I'm teaching this, I guess, but not even on the same level as our educators. But, you know, appreciation to you too. We've all worked on this together, and it's hard when we're all working and trying to help our kids learn, right? But we will do this. We'll get through this, and there's ways we can do it. Thank God for technology, and it's here to help, and so am I. All right, thank you for watching, and I will hopefully hear from you soon.